Hello there, it's nice to see you again on the channel. And if this is your first time, my name is Philip. And right here in this video, I'll be walking you through what JavaScript arrays are, the for loop, the forEach, map, filter, and reduce methods. So without further ado, let's get started. So what exactly are you know arrays in JavaScript? So arrays are collection is a ordered collection in JavaScript that can consist of different or multiple data types. So arrays is also one of the types of data structure that we have in JavaScript. So JavaScript has multiple data types, and array happens to be one of them, identifiable by the square brackets. So it's one of the ways in which you can identify an array. So, and what do I mean by an array being an ordered collection? So essentially what that means is that every item in an array has a position. You get and it's structured like there's a first element, there's a last element, and the positions of the elements in these arrays matters a lot to the structure. So now I pre-wrote some data just to allow us easily walk through without having to spend time creating data. So now I created a list here, a list of names that we can see, console.log the names. All right, so we can see the names right here. It's 8 items right there, index number 0 down to 7. So uh, typically if I want to iterate through this array traditionally, or like using the for loop, the way that will work would be, all right, let me remove the console.log right here, would be write a for statement. So the first thing right there in the for statement is a variable declaration. So let's okay, let index be equals to let index be equals to 0. Right, so the next thing right there is the conditional statement, or the condition statement. So that would be index less than names. Okay, we have to then declare this properly. Let's use const. Yeah, so basically the difference between the let and the const is like const, you're sure that the value is not going to change over time. Why would the let variable declaration, the value of that particular variable can change over time. So index is less than length of the names. So while the index is less than the length of names, we want to do something, which is the third part of the for loop, increase the value of index. So in this case, console.log names and a particular index. All right, so if we save this, then I get a result like this. Each of the item in the list is being displayed right there on the console. So this is the for loop. This is how the for loop works. So the first part of the for loop is the variable declaration. Okay, the second part is the condition statement, while the third part is the incrementation, or incremental factor, whatever you're gonna call it. So now, over time, more methods have been created to help us walk through these arrays better without having to constantly writing up or conjuring up this for loop, which can be sometimes difficult, especially when you want to manipulate more complex data. So that's why we have things like this for each map, filter, and reduce, which is the main part of this video. So at let's jump in at for each. So let's comment this out. All right, so we have for each here. Right, so one thing right here is that methods like for each, map, filter, reduce are high order functions. So we call them high order array methods. So what exactly is high order? Basically these are just functions that can take on another function as an argument. So of course its definition is much more extensive than that, but um, this as well very much captures its essence. So at any point in your code or in any code way that you can see, if you can identify a function that is taking on another function as an argument, easily you can identify that particular function as an high order function. So moving on to for each. So we still have the same list of names. So then we can call on for each right there. So for each takes on an argument, which is a function. So in this case, I'm using an arrow function. All right. So for each, so right then I'm passing in an argument which will represent each item in the array. Each item in the array. So for each item, do something for us, which is console.log item. So if we save this, you can see right here that we got the same results as the last one. So essentially, the for each functions similarly like the for loop that we wrote here. Like it's works similarly. It's explicitly the same idea. So moving on to the next one, which is the map. Okay, so let's comment this out. Map methods. So there are different use cases for this. The for each, for example, when you just want to just iterate or loop through a list without necessarily adding any extra logic to it, or there's no manipulation on the list itself, maybe just on the output. So for each can work. But in a situation whereby you would like to create you like to create another list from an existing one. So that is where like items like or methods like map comes to play. Like it's best used there. So in this situation whereby I want to like and map through an array, then work out another array out of that array. So for this example, I created one already here, which is applicants. All right. So let's comment this out. Abera still. I can remove this entirely. So we have this as okay. That's an error there. Okay. All right. So this is our data applicants. So let's declare it properly. So we want to like map through this array. This is an array that contains an object right there inside of it. So in this case, I want to like map through this array and get the names of the applicants. All right. So in this case, I can call applicants and map. So then I'm passing in my argument, which is a function. In this case, I'm using an arrow function. So I can take on the applicants. Okay, let me call it user in this case, user. And what I want to return in this case is return for us, or return to me, the name of the user. All right. So this entire expression, I want to assign it to a new value, which is applicants names. Okay, so I'm assigning it to this. I'm assigning the expression to applicant's name as a variable. So right, let me console.log applicants names. So right here you can see that I got my list that shows basically the names of the applicants right here. So what happened here? Now we had this entire list that contains series of information right there, the name, the age, the service year, etc. So but right now we want to like manipulate the existing array such that we can pull out the information that is needed. Okay, we still want the entire array, but we want to like pull out some specific information. We don't need all of the data right there in the array. So the .map method comes in very handy in this situation, and with an expression like this, it saves you like convoluted for loops. So it's really comes in handy right there. So now moving on to filter method. Right, so let's comment this out. So the filter method works, or like the best use case for the filter is when you want to like manipulate your data, which is your array, such that you want to get back a subset of the original array based on a particular condition. So in this case, now we have a list of applicants. Would like to return applicants that are 30 years below, because the age is a detail that is available in the object. So we'd like to return applicants that are 30 years and below. So now in this case, we're going to call our applicants.filter. All right, so it takes in a function as well, so let's call it user. All right, and in this case we want to return user.age that is less than or equals to 30. All right, so let's assign this const applicants applicants age. Let's just call it that, you know. So in this case, let's console.log applicants age. Let's call this applicants age 30 below. All right, I think that is better. Age 30 below. Right. So if we save this, you would discover that what it returned right here, out of the existing list, it's picked 5 items, and all of these 5 items are applicants right there that are younger than 30 years and below. So that is, you know, where filter comes in very handy. So one part I would like you to pay very, you know, a little bit of more attention to is the return statement inside of the filter and the return statement inside of the map methods. So the return statement inside of the filter is more of a condition statement, or it is a condition statement. Okay, whereas the return statement inside of the map method, okay, is you know, a detail right there in the list. So like the filter depends on a condition statement. Okay, the filter depends on a condition statement, and of course there are ways in which you can manipulate these methods to give you your desired result, but the reasons why, you know, we have them separated, you know, the for each, the map, the filter, etc., is like it can, you know, a solution that fits the use case that you have at the moment. All right, so for example, when you want to, like, you know, filter a list based on a particular condition, you don't have to, like, you know, waste a lot of time writing some extra functions. Just bring the filter methods and just, you know, just execute your task. So there is that on filter. Then moving on to reduce. So now the reduce method works more like as a cumulator. Like it's like converges. It like converges a list. So like in this case, let's clear the data that will best represent this is like this scores right there. So I have it here, and scores is a list, of course. Let's declare it scores. Right. So scores, let's call on the reduce method, reduce, and in this case we're passing in this argument. We can call, you know, right there you can see Visual Studio already highlights previous value, current index, etc. So in this case, what we'll be going for is that the intention is to, like, you know, sum up the entire value right here in the array. So let's do that by calling the previous one. Let's call it total. Let's call this total, and the current value, let's call it current. Okay, so, and then let's say do something for us, return total, the sum with the current. Okay, so if we save this now and let's assign this to a value, let's say const result is equals to this, and let's console.log our result. So right here you can see it gave us the value, which is like the cumulation of all available elements, I mean numbers in the list, or in the array rather. So this brings us to the end of this video. If you like this video, please do click the like button, and if you found this content very valuable as well, I would like you to consider subscribing to the channel and hit the notification button as well, the notification bell, so that you can get future videos from me as well. Thank you very much for watching.